God dang it, Beaquis, stop looking at me like that. The week of the Beastmen continues with another multiplayer match, this time against none other than the Prince of Macedon. I happened to catch him at a good time. We joined up in Skype and played 3 games, with the finale as a Beastmen Civil War on 40 unit cap. Now, unfortunately, a patch came in yesterday that corrupted all of my replays from Sunday when I recorded with POM, and I had only recorded this match, so I still need to go back in and see if those replays are salvageable and at least watchable or completely trashed by the patch. But regardless, this was game 1. I am playing as Bretonnia with King Louen as my legendary lord, and he actually has a new item in the Beastmen patch called the Sword of Coron, which is a hex that lowers enemy armor by 15 and melee defense by 36 in an area of effect. Really good ability on a 90-second cooldown. But we're not here for Bretonnia, we're here for Beastmen. So Alex's deployment is Ungor Bowman herd up front, backed up by my new favorite unit, the Minotaurs. Absolutely brutal monster units, incredibly satisfying to use. He has a bunch of Gore herd rounding out his build and some more Minotaurs. And then over on his right flank, a Beastmen Giant who treads loudly and carries a big stick. For his legendary lord, Malagor the Dark Omen, a caster of the Beastmen specific lore of Wild. Unfortunately, like Heinrich Kemmler, did not have his flying special rules translated from the tabletop to Total War Warhammer. In this case, probably because the Beastmen are missing their flyers, and he wouldn't be able to defend himself without a land option. So we're kind of surveying the battlefield right now, but Prince is trying out the new Vanguard deployment units. He has some Centaurs with great weapons hidden behind my army, and my gallant Bretonnian knights know how to sniff out an ambush. I am going to catch sight of those 2 Centaur units in my rear lines, and I'm quickly going to converge and completely surround them. Now, Knights of the Realm and Grail Knights will absolutely poop on Centaurs. They're just really low armor. I don't think they're a horrendous unit, but I think that they're kind of overpriced. They're very fast, but you have to be very cautious with them. I don't think you want to be using them in cavalry engagements too often, even though they do have a bonus first large. Against Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm, this kind of number, they're just going to get completely surrounded, cut to pieces in the woods, and this ambush is going to get sniffed out and destroyed at the start of the battle. King Louen is going to come in to reinforce just to make sure I quickly get those Centaurs off the field and shattered. So that's going to be a little bit disastrous. Not the best way to start out a battle, but it happens sometimes. Like I've said before, Vanguard deployment in Total War games can be a little bit gimmicky. It's a lot of fun to use, but it's hard to use appropriately against a competent opponent, which I think is a category I fall into. So the Ungor Bowman herd are moving up to get into position to shoot, and my peasant bowmen are going to start laying into the Minotaurs, who without shields have only 35 armor, so they will take quite a bit of damage as they move in. And of course, across the board, the Minotaurs and the Beastmen in general do not have fantastic armor. A lot of the units have only 15 armor. We'll see the Minotaurs just go to work in the middle of the spearmen at arms, just giving them everywhere complete explosions of blood and gore and death and destruction for the poor Bretonnian men at arms. But this is where the power of focus firing with bows comes into effect. That giant has taken a ton of damage from my bows already, and now look at this charge coming in from the rear from my Knights of the Realm into the back of the Ungor Raiders. That is going to be devastating, and we're going to see a bunch of little Ungors go flying into the air. Look, Mom, I'm flying. Oh, but he doesn't have a head anymore. Poor little Billy Goat is going to get completely destroyed from the rear, and this Knights of the Realm charge is going to be devastating to Prince's back lines. But there's now a friendly neighborhood Cygor on the field, summoned using Savage Dominion by Malagor the Dark Omen. That Cygor is going to be heading straight into the thick of combat to smash things into sticky pulp with that massive boulder. Grail Knights have charged up the center, causing a lot of pain there, though I should be careful. Maybe don't want to be leaving them in melee with that one-eyed monster unless I have reinforcements to back them up. And now King Louen and his Hippogryph Beaquis swooping down to take righteous vengeance for the murder of our poor spearmen at arms. They got completely destroyed by those Minotaurs, but the Minotaurs have taken a bunch of damage. The savage claws and beak of Beaquis reaping a deadly toll in that unit of Beastmen. Back over here in the center, the Giant smashing on things, but lots of the Gore herd are wavering or shattered at this point. Looks like a Gore bull is stuck in melee right there, and now the Knights of the Realm are causing a lot of panic and discord in the back lines. And look at that Cygor, it just got summoned, And this is the power of focus firing against Beastmen units. Really any single target entities in this game, but especially ones with low armor. That Cygor just got summoned, and 2 or 3 units of Peasant Bowmen gonna take it down in a matter of 15 or 20 seconds. Same thing has happened to the Giant. He's taken a ton of HP damage from bow shots. Ungor Bowherd are doing their best, but they are not going to be able to last for very long when the Knights of Bretonnia charge in to their faces. King Louen chasing off the remainders from those Minotaurs, and now I have free cav, and this is where things are going to get especially brutal. The mobility for the Beastmen have been completely eliminated. Charge up the center, Grail Knights sending those Ungors flying, ripping them apart with their lances. Now the Giant getting committed to melee, but it doesn't matter. Those Peasant Bows have reaped a deadly toll in this battle. They are going to... Oh, look at that. It's Wild Tide going off. Good cast from Prince, but it is not going to be enough to save that Giant, who has taken so much HP damage from these bow shots coming in. And pretty soon, he is going to drop after the Knights of the Realm get smacked in the face a couple of times. Oh, look at all those arrows coming in. Blood gushing from his face and belly. And that is going to be the end of the Giant very soon. Probably one more volley here. Malagor doing his best to buff stuff up in the back lines. King Louen coming in, and as soon as he charges in, the Giant is dead. And Grail Knights in the back, making sure those Ungor Bowherd do not come back. And this has just turned into a massacre and mass rout at this point in the battle. I haven't played the matchup enough to know for sure, but I do have a feeling Bretonnia is going to be a really tough matchup for the Beastmen. Lots of cheap spears with bonus versus large, and focus firing with Peasant Bowmen, who won't be threatened from the air because the Beastmen don't have flyers. Makes that matchup pretty tough for the Beastmen, I think. Prince's Bestigor herd actually did really well. His Minotaurs did alright. Bestigor's with 158 kills, but the cavalry superiority and bow fire was overwhelming in this one. But I think it was both of our first experiences with the Beastmen, or one of our first experiences in a multiplayer match. So, good game to Alex. I'll check and hopefully be able to bring you Game 2 and Game 3 as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Indypride, signing out.